Right, so it's confession time then. Ready to hear it? I have an unpopular opinion. I hate data democratization. You know that idea of making data available to all? I don't think it's quite working out the way it was advertised. It makes me cringe every single time I hear the word. Now, before you panic, no, I'm not really proposing any sort of data autocracy here either. What I'm suggesting is something rather different, something that redefines our very relationship with data. I want us to see data not as merely a commodity. No, what I want is more of an extension of ourselves, not just something in a storage somewhere. But let's talk about Lisa first. Who's Lisa, you might ask? Well, Lisa is 34 years old. She loves Freddo, you know, the Greek-style iced coffee, which I like as well, by the way. She also enjoys long hikes, binge-watching Netflix. She also listens to Taylor Swift every once in a while. Can't blame her for that. We all have flaws. She's pregnant. Recently, she noticed something rather weird. After her prenatal visit, adverts for fairly expensive, luxurious baby gears started flooding her timeline on social media. Was that a coincidence? I think we know better than that. Somewhere, her medical data was tagged, packaged, and sold as pregnant woman, 30s, high income. But Lisa never signed up for this. Yet here she is, being the star player, the superstar, in an invisible marketplace without even knowing it. A marketplace she never chose is shaping her choices. It's preying on her vulnerabilities, all without a single I agree. She never clicked on any link or button to agree with anything. Lisa lives just 2 blocks from the quiet park she just walks to every morning. That's where she started noticing these ads. Just sitting there, watching the sunrise, sipping her coffee. It suddenly felt like someone was following her, like someone was watching her, like a stalker. And you know what? She wasn't wrong either. Think about it for a second. How anonymous do you think you are? Researchers at MIT shocked the world when they found that 90% of people could be uniquely identified just with 4 metrics. That is 4 data points: gender, postcode, birth date, and 1 single hobby. Just 4. Fewer details than you would share on a simple dating app. And yet it is enough to pinpoint you. I don't mean search and find you in some database somewhere. No, that's not what I mean at all. I mean pinpoint you personally on planet Earth. Because that data, in aggregate, begins to paint a deeply personal picture of who you are as a person. But it doesn't stop there, no. Picture this for a second. An MRI scan, your MRI scan. Your name isn't on it, nor is your date of birth. Just your age, your gender, and the exact timestamp of when the scan was taken. That sounds completely anonymous, right? I have personally received, processed, studied hundreds of such scans. But here is what most of us don't quite realize. The companies collecting our mobile location and search activities, you know, the maps, the marketplaces, the social media, the messaging app, all these things, they know exactly where you were at that exact moment when you were having your scan. Why? Because you have your mobile phone in your pocket at all times, don't you? And it's always working in the background. And if you searched for symptoms or some specialist doctor or something, then boom, your anonymous data record is no longer anonymous. It's now being tagged and just waiting somewhere quietly. And that is not by accident, it's by design. This is not science fiction. This is not a theoretical scenario. This is reality happening right now today. Researchers once identified individuals purely through their heartbeats captured by wearable fitness trackers. You know, the watches and the rings and whatever else people wear these days. Your heartbeat, unique, constant, deeply personal heartbeat, is now a fingerprint. A fingerprint that's constantly shared through these devices. Imagine casually saying, hey, don't track my heartbeat, it's mine. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But it's happening. But here is what really worries me as a so-called expert in the field. Where are governments in all this? Too often, they're just spectators. They're just onlookers, stuck in a time warp, governed by outdated laws and ineffective regulations and their thoughts of how the world is being run or how things work from 50 years ago, if not more. Companies exploit all sorts of loopholes, selling privacy as a commodity, while politicians and others in charge, people who are supposed to protect us, often don't even understand how our data, how we are being used. It's difficult to fix a problem if you don't even know it's there. I mean, that's the first step to solve a problem. You need to know there is a problem. It reminds me of a famous Persian poem. It translates roughly as this: he who knows not and knows not that he knows not will remain forever lost in layered ignorance. I mean, social media. For years, government stood idle and ignored issues around mental health, around children, privacy, online safety, all sorts of things, until tragedy struck again and again and again. They didn't pay the price, no. Our children paid the price. Their own children paid the price, and they're still paying the price. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, there are some ideas. Here are a couple of them. First, let's demand genuine transparency. Not buried in 50 pages of legalese, but clear, concise, easy to read, honest communication about how our data, our digital selves, are being used. Second, let's advocate for robust regulation, real enforcement, meaningful penalties, and proactive oversight, globally, not locally, not regionally, not in a country, not in even a continent, globally. GDPR was a commendable start, no doubt about it, but it's barely scratching the surface. When it comes to data re-identification, it offers little safeguard for legitimate use of data with such potential, with the potential to re-identify. And I think we deserve better than that. I think we should demand accountability. But this is where my rather controversial and unpopular opinion deepens even further. It isn't just that data democratization is failing us. It is that perhaps we've been asking the wrong question all along. We've focused almost exclusively on access, but not much really on agency. And what do I mean by agency? I mean, it's not necessarily just about who gets the data so much as it is about who is the data and who decides for that data self. This kind of brings me to the real shift in thinking. Perhaps the crucial question isn't whether data can ever be truly anonymized, so much as it is about perhaps how can we cultivate agency over our digital identities. Think about organ donation, for example. In life, many of us make a conscious altruistic decision. When I'm gone, I want my organs to give life to others. It is a profound act of giving, of deciding the legacy of our physical selves. here is a moment of contrast. We grant more dignity to our physical remains than to our digital ones. Why? Think about it. Why can't we have the same agency with our digital lives? Imagine a system where you could consciously dedicate your anonymous health data to advanced cancer research, knowing its precise value, precise use, and precise purpose. Or choose to have your digital identity, your digital footprint, meticulously erased upon death as a final act of privacy, a final statement of control. It is mine and I want it gone with me. Perhaps we need to start treating our core data, our health records, the pattern of our thoughts captured in search queries, our unique identifiers like our heartbeat, as something closer to sacred. No, I don't mean sacred in a religious sense, not really, but more as something intrinsically associated with our dignity and autonomy as a human being, as a person. Not to be almost trafficked or traded away lightly or unknowingly. I mean, you would stand against human trafficking. This is someone's mind we are talking about. So how is that different? We are our minds. Of course, data isn't exactly like an organ. My heart is mine alone. But my genetic data, well, that connects me to my entire family. Goes from my ancestors on one side to my descendants on the other side. Their privacy is intertwined with mine. And this highlights the complexity, the intricate web of connection. But it does not negate the fundamental need for individual agency as the starting point. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of debate to be had, there's no question, but the focal point, in my opinion, should be individual agency. Now imagine one last shift. What if every app, every platform had to give you one sentence, just one sentence explaining exactly how they would use your data? Sounds simplistic, right? Well, yes, it is. But it's not unrealistic. It's very much possible. Imagine tracking exactly who uses your data and for what purpose at all time. You track it this time. Giving you the choice to withdraw consent if you so wish, if you're not comfortable with the use. Imagine having that kind of control alive and beyond. I'm here today not to frighten, but to provoke some thought. I want to spark a vital conversation here. The future of privacy isn't just about chasing the illusion of anonymity. It isn't. It's about cultivating meaningful consent, transparent practices, and genuine agency over our digital lives. I don't really hate data democratization, in case you haven't realized so far. It is my life's work. The power of data can save lives. I know that. But it can also destroy them. I know that too. I know that power firsthand. I know the burden of responsibility that comes with it too. But data democratization without accountability is no democracy. It is chaos. True democracies thrive on transparency, on oversight, on genuine agency for their people. And I think our digital lives, our digital selves, deserve no less. Because remember, please remember this, that data is not just zeros and ones. It is not just a product to be bought and sold. Data is Lisa's hopes and anxieties for her child. Data is your unique, irreplaceable heartbeat. Data is the echo of your most private and intimate thoughts in a search bar. Data is us. We are the data. And the most fundamental question we face in this digital age is this: how will we choose to define, defend, and determine the fate of ourselves? So let us choose wisely, and let us choose now. Thank you.